Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome back to this week's video vlog entitled
We
entitled
got good old-fashioned
Good
metrics.
Old-Fashioned Metrics. Sometimes you just got to measure stuff instead of supposing that it's one way or the other or anything else like that, or that this is okay and that's okay. You just put a tape measure on it and let's find out.
Read the meter, as Einstein said.
Exactly.
We got a sweet picture of a really jacked old guy on there, so you know this article is going to be good for you.
Yeah. Only problem is he doesn't have any pecs. He's just all biceps. So he
Yeah,
just sits at the gym and does curls.
soft.
Yeah, very
All right.
soft. And he's old.
Yeah, that's whack. So we hope each of you is at least thinking about perhaps making a few lifestyle changes now. Instead of waiting for the crap to hit the fan, and being willing to sacrifice yourself to whatever Hail Mary cure some profiteer has waiting for you. That's not a good strategy, right?
That's all it is. That's what it is. I do whatever I want, and hopefully somebody's got something. And of course, they got something. It just doesn't work. The big problem with so many of these things is that the thing that they extract mostly is that responsibility and responsibility for yourself, that you actually have to participate in your own health and wellness, and that it's like, well, somebody else will take care of me.
Right.
Oh, they'll take care of you, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. There's really no substitute for good, clean living. We want to try and do everything else besides put in the work. And yeah,
Yeah.
as you'll learn more from this.
Yeah.
Yes, he is super annutated. Really?
Yeah.
I love that term for an old guy. And I
Yes.
come from a day when most remember things being a lot simpler.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, our office is an old house that was built in 1954 and used to be a TV repair shop back in the 1960s.
Believe it or not, yeah, people in the neighborhood used to go to that little door over there, bang on the door, go in, and you remember when you had those little tubes that you put in the machine? You could buy tubes and put them into your TV so that you could get pictures. This was the place to come.
All right, hot spot 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Paragon Chiropractic doesn't look like a spaceship with a bunch of flashing lights, computer screens, and electronic gadgets. People walk in, are greeted by a human, and are helped by humans. Pretty simple.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I've been to a few doctor's offices. The first thing you do, nobody says anything. You walk in and you stare at a computer and you stand there. And the one place I go is to have my eyes checked, and it's very interesting because the printing's small and you can't see the thing. So
You
it's
failed
like,
the
what
test.
what idiot? Yeah, maybe that was the whole test. What idiot thinks it's a good idea at a place that deals with vision to have something that you can't see to enter yourself when somewhere there's 50 people standing there and you could just say hi.
Yeah. You'll notice we still use paper for paperwork and stuff like that. While it might not be the most eco-friendly thing, it actually does work. Like I just went to my skin doctor and they're looking at me over and stuff, and I had to fill out all this paperwork online. I walked in, it had failed. I had to fill it all out once again in house. They had and it was just a big cluster. So yeah, that would be called a dermatologist, not a skin doctor. That sounds like
Yeah.
something else.
Skin doctor. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this week on Skin Doctor.
Yeah.
We only mention this because simple is always the correct direction compared to more and more complex. For all the many doctors, specialists, gurus, and other experts, one would think healthcare should be getting simpler and simpler to understand and apply. Those in the healthcare profession pushing in the direction of simplicity, in the direction of understanding and returning to the usual and customary, rather than more and more expensive complexity.
Wow.
It is very possible that an apple a day would actually keep the doctor away, providing the person with significantly reduced or eliminated pro-inflammatory calories from their diet.
Yeah, you get that. And it's like, so yeah, if a person were actually eating healthy and taking care of themselves, it's possible that an apple a day could keep the doctor away. I mean, there was other things, but the guy that's going to eat 5 birthday cakes and a box of cookies and heaven knows what else and everything, and it's like, oh, I better have one of those apples. Oh,
You're just a shot of Manjaro away from getting your,
yeah, yeah,
$300 shot of that away. Somebody stands to gain a lot from you not pushing in the direction of simple, right?
Yeah.
I think like the weight training world is notorious for that. Like kind of mine and Anderson's specialties are like we add all of this, vernacular and like, peaking strategies and timing and stuff like this to this. But like the things that have proven out are like 12 reps, boring stuff that people don't want to go back to. So, but yeah, anyway, here's the point really. We're not talking about treating disease, but rather helping one to make yourself healthier. You see the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So yeah, you don't want to get into a situation where you're always trying to treat some sort of a disease or illness or anything. Why don't you just work on being healthy? And you'll probably avoid a lot of things simply because you're pushing in the direction of being healthy instead of treating diseases.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we'll read that one again. The point is, we're not talking about treating disease, but rather helping you to make yourself healthier.
Yeah.
Difference. Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Think of the movie The Warriors.
Yeah. Can you dig it?
Yeah, that's a badass scene.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
Get the idea that reducing and eliminating pro-inflammatory calories from one's diet is not about treating or trying to cure disease.
All right, we're going to try something here real quick. A little advertising. Last video we talked about vitamin D. We still have the vitamin D liquid here and vitamin D with K and all the rest of the stuff. Take a look at the last video. Vitamin D can be used as a natural antibiotic. I forget, it's like 3,000 different processes in the body require vitamin D, which would be something that you would need to be healthy. That's excellent. The other thing that we were talking about is fiber. I get this at Sprouts, which is really fantastic, about $14 a box. We have Herbulk and other things here too, which will really help. You got to get away from you get the idea that the fiber basically bulks things up and makes a better stool and all the rest of it. But keep in mind that the little buggy wugs in your intestines love fiber. And if the bugs are getting what they love, they'll love you. A lot of the dopamine and serotonin and other neurotransmitters and things that keep you happy and engaged and all the rest of the stuff and healthy all come from these bugs. And this is what they like. Little psyllium husk. And so, they go crazy.
We're trying to source some stuff that's going to be even cheaper because obviously that would be like maybe even a multiple times a day daily driver of something you use all the time. Abby's telling me that I need to push the vitamin D with the K because we're not getting enough of that in our diets as well. And it really helps this from potentially ever doing anything, having any kind of negative impact on the body. So we always carry it with the K too. So, but the fiber is good. You can ramp that up in your diet, or, we're going to have some more affordable stuff here in the coming weeks for sure.
Vegetation's always going to be the best thing. So I was reading something. There's a fellow that eats a pound of vegetables with every meal. Ugh, that's a lot of vegetables. But the fiber, whoops-a-daisy, off camera, great. Fiber works amazingly well. A couple of these a day, just a little scoop, chug it down before it turns into an oyster, and off you go. Good. Okay, so much for our ad.
Back to the regularly scheduled
regularly scheduled blog.
So get the idea that reducing and eliminating pro-inflammatory calories from one's diet is not about treating or trying to cure a disease. It is not about losing weight or getting your blood pressure or blood sugar levels lowered. It is about making the appropriate lifestyle changes that improve one's overall health.
Yeah.
A healthy body is healthy, and an unhealthy body is unhealthy.
Who'd have thunk it?
The usual and customary is to push toward living, flourishing, and thriving, and not to try to eliminate illness or disease or lessen one's death's sting.
Yeah, what if that was the whole purpose? All you basically did was went around through living trying to avoid getting sick and fixing things that were broken or were messed up when you were sick. And I mean, at what point, and then you would have to consider that life and living, but life and living is entirely different from constantly trying to keep from being sick or correcting sickness and things like that. So at the end of the day, go live.
I think maybe you guys have seen this guy on like YouTube Shorts or something, but he's some wacko who's like trying to make himself like 16 years old again, I think is his ambition. And so he's undergoing like all these really progressive, intense skin treatments, looks super creepy. He's taking like over 100 pills, pharmaceutical and vitamins to try and like, lengthen his telomeres or like extend this or that or the other thing. And that would be a prime example, like kind of way off the deep end of just avoiding fearfully all of the possible scaries and not pursuing life, because his whole day is consumed with, just tending to this body and ensuring that it doesn't age, which I got news for you. He's not going to make it out of here alive.
Yeah, and here's the best part. One day the Grim Reaper says, "Come on, dumbass, let's go."
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I'm 16 years old.
I took 100 pills every day.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're
wait,
30.
dude. Hold on, Grim Reaper. I'm 16. You didn't get the message.
Yeah, you're 32, but your body thinks it's 132 because of all the garbage you took. At any rate.
So one can outcreate the negative by creating more and more positive.
Yeah.
So rather than us speaking disparagingly of this guy, we need to go and like outcreate him.
Yeah.
Change one's lifestyle to create more and more health and wellness, and it will outcreate the bad stuff. Very simple.
Yeah.
Here are a number of metrics that can be used to determine whether a person is inflamed or not. So these are a lot of these things you can do at home. That's kind of cool. So number 1, elevated blood pressure, anything above 120/80. Number 2, a waist circumference 36 inches or greater for females and 40 inches or greater for males.
Yeah, just kind of go around where the belly button is, put the tape measure on.
That's one that a lot of people are shying away from because we use our pant sizes as men, and we think we run around with that. But a lot of you guys are not caked up. You're running around with little butts, and you're thinking you're a 28-inch waist or something, but you're probably like a 42 when we throw the tape on you, which is pretty. A lot of people are in disbelief on that one. So
yeah, a lot of people have what's known as Dunlap's disease, where their belly Dunlapped over their waistband.
That's got to be a Foxworthy, right?
I think. I don't know.
All right, 3, elevated blood fats such as cholesterol and triglycerides. That's going to be tough to check at home, but we've got easy panels. We can send you out for all this stuff on very affordably too. We worked with Vetiver Labs or something like that. So yeah, if you're interested in taking a look at this, just give us a call. Elevated hemoglobin A1C below 5.7% is healthy.
Yeah. And that A1C hemoglobin is essentially, it's sugar. It's a process called glycation. So it's sugar stuck to your red blood cells. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, that can't be good. It's not.
Number 5, elevated BMI, which would involve your weight. Waist to hip ratio below 0.95 for males and 0.8 for females. We could show you that
waist
equation.
To hip, and you use a tape measure and do the math, and there it is.
Super easy. And that's a lot more, that's actually a much better number than BMI or some of these other things too. And you can track that really easily at home.
Yeah.
Vitamin D levels between 60 and 80.
Anything lower, you got problems.
Elevated CRP is low risk.
Yeah, that's high sensitivity C-reactive protein, which tells you whether or not there's an inflammatory process going on. That's a blood study.
I see what you did here. He gives the exact numbers. So if you're reading along at home, this would be a good one to follow along at home. And so if we do the blood work, obviously we'll be able to go over this with you and tell you where you stand. But 1 milligram per liter is low risk, 1 to 3 moderate, 3 or greater is high risk of cardiovascular disease. So you want to stay.
Yeah, there's numbers that are associated with it. So we draw the blood, we have a lab, or we can have a fellow come to your house and draw the blood, and it's pretty cool. And check out all these numbers. And the best part is it's not like it's a death sentence. I mean, eventually it will be if you don't do anything about it. But these are numbers that can actually be changed and improved through changing your lifestyle, not trying to work to change the numbers, but living better.
Yeah.
Amazing.
True. 9, we've got poor health, over-the-counter, and prescription medications.
Yeah, if you're on all sorts of prescription drugs and taking over-the-counter things to get rid of pain and all the rest of the stuff, they're finding that chronic tendonitis or chronic tendinopathy is indicative of a potential coronary artery disease because the arteries are made of the same stuff as the tendons.
That's
so if you have this chronic elbow, chronic knee, chronic hip thing, these tendons and they just don't seem to get better, there's a reason. It's because of the junk you're eating, the lifestyle, and there's a good chance that your heart is being thrown, or the cardio arteries, the coronary arteries are actually thrown into the mix also. So that's not a good way to go through it either.
No doubt.
Yep.
The last one here, don't know what this one is, but
There it is,
elevated homeostatic model assessment for insulin resistance.
Yeah, HOMA-IR is what it is. So what we basically do is we take your fasting insulin, fasting glucose, multiply them, divide them by 405 and see what the number is. And it's a much better test than the hemoglobin A1C because it will tell us whether or not your cells are insulin resistant. And what that means is it takes a lot of work to cram glucose into your cells.
Where are we at? All right, so there are many more expensive and complex tests, but these will work, and quite honestly, one's waist circumference will tell them everything that they need to know.
Yeah, if you got a big belly on you, yeah,
it's a giveaway.
Yeah.
And again, like the ambition here is not to demonize the outcome, right? You just want to make sure that you're on the path to addressing that, right? It's not that like we're shaming someone for where they landed. You know what I mean? Like we are constantly preaching, everyone's getting hoodwinked into reaching for the wrong types of things and being lied to or sold something so that this is the outcome, that you do get one of these big scary things, or maybe that you are carrying a little bit of extra body fat or something like that. It's not that it's not your fault, but like, again, you have a lot of flow heading that direction to keep you unhealthy.
It's the end result of a lot of processes, and that's the whole thing. So we correct the processes and the health squares right up. That's what we're doing. We're not taking care of, I'm just saying these are indicators, but if you take care of fix the indicator, just like engine warning light comes on your car, that's an indicator that something's wrong. So you just take a little piece of tape and put it over it, and now you're fine, right?
Right.
No, there's processes that are telling you that your engine's getting ready to fail.
Right. Yeah, Yep. Just like a headache. We want to just chase the headache, and it's like, well, where's that coming from?
Right.
It's not that the belly fat is like the thing that needs to be attacked, and that you go and cool sculpt it away, or have it sawn, or do a gastric bypass or something like that. That's not. It's everything that led up to that, and those things are actually pretty easy to manage and change.
Yeah, because you're still doing the thing that would create it, although with the cool sculpting and the liposuction, you don't have the fat cells anymore. So it'll start putting the fat behind your knees, into your arms, into your face, and everything else, because it's still got to dump it to fat cells someplace.
Yeah. And
they don't tell you about that.
Those fat cells are very helpful for a lot of other processes too. You want those around. All right, let's see where we're at here. So the American Diabetes Association has stated that males whose waist circumference is 40 inches or greater and females whose waist circumference is 36 inches or greater are diabetic. That's the marker. So if you're close to those numbers, I guess you can put yourself into the metabolic purgatory of pre-diabetic, kind of like being a little bit pregnant.
Yeah, and then that's what the American Diabetic Association says. Those numbers, I think, are really 36 for males and 28 inches for females. Anything greater than that, you're probably pre-diabetic, and anything above 40 or greater for males, or 36 or greater for females, you are diabetic. So, and it's like, that's where this is coming from. The stuff that you're eating is creating this blood sugar problem, which is diabetes, that results in gaining this weight.
All one has to do is change their lifestyle to reduce and eliminate pro-inflammatory calories from their diet, and pure magic will happen, perhaps even miracles. But don't try to cure diseases and disorders. Just work on getting healthy.
Right. Waste of time.
So what do you think?
Get healthy.
ready to work on getting healthy? Or would you rather wait until you are ill and waste your time trying to treat the disease? Oh, and while you're still making yourself unhealthy with pro-inflammatory calories,
Yeah.
right?
So most people, yeah, they go to the doctor, they get a pill, they get something else like that to treat whatever disease or disorder that they're treating, while they continue to live the lifestyle that's making the disease. Like we talked about in a previous blog, the average American eats 150 pounds of sugar a year. How much insulin is that going to take? How much metformin? How much, what's the other ones? Ozempic and all the rest of these things. How much do you need to take of that to counter 150 pounds of sugar in a year?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Just asking.
Okay, we got one more blog on this topic. And then, if you want, we've got the book club. The first one was really fun. We had a handful of people show up. It was a good discussion. We covered the first kind of third of this book, but really the message is pretty much going to be the same. So if you're looking for maybe like a little bit of a kickstart or a nudge in the right direction with some like-minded people that are going to be, kind of trying to eat the right way and stuff like that, it's a good thing to come out to. The last Thursday of the month, I believe, is the 28th of December. So
in the meantime, you can get this book and just read it and start going. Like I said, Dr. Seaman also has a number of YouTube videos and things. If you're like, oh, that can't possibly. Oh, yeah, it can.
Got a podcast. The videos are great.
Yeah.
If you want to just come by and steal a coffee, we'll just hand you the printout of the first page, and that should save your life.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, there's hundreds of pages here, but literally the chart is yay, nay. It's as simple
there's
as
a chart about
Yeah.
this big, and then there's an entire book written about why the chart is the way it is.
Because we need to be proved to. We can't just
like just do this.
All right. Well, thanks for following along. Take care.
Yep. Thank you.